A man spent 22 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. And when investigators finally uncovered the truth, they discovered something that should make every American terrified: his own lawyer had the evidence that could have freed him, and never used it. But that's not even the most disturbing case we're covering today. What I'm about to show you will fundamentally change how you view the American justice system. Because these aren't just mistakes. These are catastrophic failures that cost innocent people millions of dollars and decades of their lives. Here's something they don't teach you in civics class: your constitutional right to a fair trial is only as good as the lawyer standing next to you. And sometimes, that lawyer is the very thing that destroys you. We're going to examine 7 cases where attorney incompetence, arrogance, and outright negligence turned courtrooms into nightmares. But here's the question that should keep you up at night: in most of these cases, the lawyers faced zero consequences. The clients lost everything: their freedom, their fortunes, their families, while the attorneys who failed them walked away. How is that possible? And more importantly, could it happen to you? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how the system protects those who break it. Let's start with the case that cost one man $26 million, because his lawyer forgot to read an email. In 2016, Texas businessman Samuel Jones was locked in a contract dispute worth tens of millions. His attorney, a partner at a prestigious firm billing $800 an hour, assured him victory was certain. But there was one problem: the opposing counsel had sent a settlement offer that would have resolved everything. The email sat in the lawyer's inbox for 90 days. He never opened it. The deadline passed. The case went to trial. And Jones lost spectacularly. When the dust settled, he was ordered to pay $26 million in damages, plus his own legal fees of over $3 million. A single unread email destroyed his entire business empire. But when Jones tried to sue his own attorney for malpractice, he discovered something even more infuriating. Now here's where I need you to really pay attention, because this changes everything. Jones sued his attorney for malpractice. Open and shut case, right? The lawyer literally didn't read an email that cost his client $26 million. But the court ruled against Jones. Why? Because to win a legal malpractice case, you don't just have to prove your lawyer made a mistake. You have to prove that without the mistake, you definitely would have won. It's called the case within a case doctrine, and it's almost impossible to satisfy. Think about the absurdity. Jones had to essentially retry his entire original lawsuit, prove he would have won, then prove the settlement would have been accepted. The system isn't designed to hold lawyers accountable. It's designed to protect them. And Jones isn't alone. Studies show that legal malpractice plaintiffs win less than 20% of their cases. The attorneys almost always walk away clean. But losing money is one thing. Case number 2 involves something far more valuable: a man's life. Calvin Burdine was on trial for murder in Texas in 1984. The prosecution wanted the death penalty. His court-appointed defense attorney, Joe Frank Cannon, was supposed to fight for Burdine's life. Instead, he fell asleep. Multiple times. During critical testimony. Witnesses later described Cannon's head nodding, his eyes closing for extended periods, even audible snoring while prosecutors presented evidence that would send his client to death row. The jury deliberated for just 2 hours before sentencing Burdine to die. For 17 years, Burdine sat on death row while appeals courts debated one simple question: does a sleeping lawyer count as having no lawyer at all? The answer they eventually reached will make your blood boil. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals initially ruled that a sleeping lawyer was good enough. Their reasoning? Cannon wasn't asleep during critical portions of the trial. Apparently, there are non-critical portions when your life is on the line. It took until 2001, 17 years after the original trial, for the full Fifth Circuit to finally rule that a sleeping counsel is equivalent to no counsel at all. Burdine got a new trial. But here's the twist that sets up everything else we're about to cover: Cannon, the sleeping attorney, was never disciplined. He continued practicing law. He represented other capital defendants. Some legal scholars estimate he slept through portions of at least 3 other death penalty cases. The Texas Bar Association did nothing. And this brings us to the pattern you'll see in every single case today: the system that's supposed to discipline bad lawyers is run by lawyers. That's like having the fox guard the henhouse. But everything I've just told you, the millions lost, the sleeping lawyer, the rigged malpractice system, that's just the setup. Because what I'm about to reveal next is something that legal experts have called the greatest systematic failure in American justice. And it didn't destroy just one life. It destroyed hundreds. In 2013, a routine audit in a Massachusetts crime lab uncovered something that would eventually overturn more than 24,000 criminal convictions. One chemist, Annie Ducan, had been falsifying drug test results for nearly a decade. She would test a few samples, then simply write "positive" on the rest without testing them at all. Sometimes she added drugs to samples that tested clean. She sent innocent people to prison. But here's the part that should terrify you: she couldn't have done it alone. Prosecutors used her testimony. Defense attorneys never challenged her methods. Judges accepted her results without question. For 9 years, the entire system failed. 24,000 convictions. Let that number sink in. That's not a typo. That's more people than live in most American towns. And the lawyers involved? Many of them had evidence, right in front of them, that Ducan's testimony was unreliable. She once testified in cases 350 miles apart on the same day. Her productivity was 3 times higher than any other chemist. Defense attorneys could have caught this. They didn't look. Prosecutors could have questioned it. They didn't care. The cost to Massachusetts taxpayers for handling the aftermath? Over $30 million and counting. But here's the revelation that connects everything: when reporters investigated how this happened, they discovered that defense attorneys in public defender offices were handling an average of 500 cases per year. That's more than 2 cases per working day. They didn't miss the signs because they were bad lawyers. They missed them because the system made it impossible to be good ones. Case number 4 takes us from overworked public defenders to the opposite extreme: a celebrity attorney whose arrogance cost his clients everything. In 2008, renowned trial lawyer Willie Gary took on a case against the funeral home giant SCI. His clients were a grieving family who had been sold defective caskets that leaked, damaging their mother's remains. Gary promised them justice. He promised them millions. What he delivered was catastrophe. During the trial, Gary allegedly fabricated evidence, suborned perjury from witnesses, and made arguments so outrageous that the judge declared a mistrial. But Gary wasn't done. He appealed, dragging the case out for years. The appeals court didn't just rule against him, they sanctioned him personally for vexatious litigation. His clients, who had started with a strong case, ended up owing the defendants legal fees. They lost their home. They filed for bankruptcy. And Willie Gary? He flew home in his private jet, nicknamed Wings of Justice, and continued advertising himself as the Giant Killer. Now stop. Before I tell you about the final cases, the ones that will change how you see everything, I need you to understand why this pattern keeps repeating. Think about what connects every story so far: a lawyer who didn't read emails, a lawyer who literally slept through a death penalty trial, chemists whose lies were never challenged, and a celebrity attorney who destroyed his own clients. In every single case, the attorney bar associations, the organizations responsible for discipline, did almost nothing. Joe Frank Cannon kept his license. Annie Ducan's enabling attorneys were never sanctioned. Willie Gary still practices law. And here's the statistic that explains everything: bar associations sustain complaints against attorneys in fewer than 5% of cases. 95% of complaints are dismissed. The legal profession is the only profession in America that exclusively polices itself. And they've decided that almost nothing is bad enough to warrant real punishment. Which brings us to the most expensive attorney mistake in American history, and the one that finally answers the question I posed at the beginning. In 2014, pharmaceutical company Gilead Sciences was sued over their HIV medication Viriad, which allegedly caused kidney damage and bone loss. The case seemed strong. Internal documents showed the company knew about the risks. But Gilead's defense team discovered something: the plaintiff's own attorneys had missed a filing deadline. Not by days. By hours. Because of that missed deadline, the entire class action, representing thousands of HIV patients, was dismissed. The potential settlement value? Estimates ranged from $300 million to over $1 billion. Gone. Because someone's lawyer miscounted hours. The affected patients tried to sue their attorneys for malpractice. Remember the case within a case doctrine? They couldn't prove they definitely would have won billions. So they got nothing. The lawyers got nothing. Only Gilead won. So here's the answer I promised you at the beginning: how does the system protect negligent lawyers while their clients lose everything? It's designed to. Think about it: the case within a case doctrine makes malpractice suits nearly impossible to win. Bar associations dismiss 95% of complaints. The legal profession polices itself with no outside oversight. Lawyers write the rules. Lawyers interpret the rules. Lawyers enforce the rules. And when lawyers break the rules, other lawyers decide if it counts. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. The American Bar Association has opposed every major reform effort for decades. They've fought against mandatory malpractice insurance. They've fought against public reporting of disciplinary actions. They've fought against allowing non-lawyers onto disciplinary boards. The 7 cases we examine today represent just the visible failures. For every case that makes headlines, there are thousands of clients quietly destroyed by attorney negligence who never even know they have grounds to complain. And the lawyers? They keep practicing. They keep billing. They keep failing. But here's what I want you to take away from all of this, because this isn't just about pointing out problems. Since 2018, 4 states have reformed their attorney discipline systems to include non-lawyer members on oversight boards. Oregon now requires all attorneys to carry malpractice insurance. California created an independent monitor for their bar association after a damning audit. These changes happened because ordinary people demanded them. Because clients who were failed by the system refused to be silent. The legal profession's monopoly on self-regulation is cracking, slowly, but it's cracking. Every one of these 7 cases sparked outrage that led to reform efforts. Calvin Berdine's case changed how courts evaluate sleeping attorneys. The Massachusetts Crime Lab scandal transformed forensic evidence procedures nationwide. Even Willie Gary's spectacular failures led to stricter sanctions for attorney misconduct. The system protects bad lawyers because good people don't know how broken it is. Now you do. And there's one case I didn't have time to cover today, one that's still being litigated right now, that could change everything. If this video changed how you see the legal system, hit subscribe because we're going deep on that pending case next week, and trust me, it's bigger than all of these combined. But before you go, I need to know, which of these 7 cases shocked you the most? Was it the sleeping death penalty lawyer, the billion-dollar missed deadline, or the 24,000 wrongful convictions? Drop your answer in the comments, I read every single one. And if you've ever been failed by an attorney, if you've experienced what these victims experienced, your story deserves to be heard too. Now you know what happens when lawyers' mistakes destroy